Okay, for dinner tonight, we are making blackened salmon. We have the star of the show here, a nice piece of farm-raised, I'm afraid, salmon. It's hard to get the fresh caught anymore, skin on. Some blackening powder. I use Emerald Lagasse's. If your supermarket doesn't have any blackened seasoning, then find another supermarket. Canola oil spray. Okay. Make sure it's canola oil. It has to be able to stand up to high heat. Canola or avocado, but I've never seen avocado oil in a spray. We are going to take the blackening powder, and we are going to very liberally, put this all over the skin. This is going to be our presentation side. It's going to be skin up on the plate. And if you want to get it nice and blackened, you're going to get this really well on there. Don't cake it on, but get it even. Then take the spray and spray that piece of salmon really well. Because that way you're not going to have to cook with a pan of boiling oil, because this is going to go on very high heat. You won't have a pan full of smoking oil. And we're going to let that sit now for 15 to 20 minutes to bring the temperature up to room temperature. This just came out of the freezer. Don't worry about pathogens or germs or any of that. This is going to be subjected to extremely high heat for quite a while, so you don't have to worry for the 20 minutes on the counter. And then we'll come back and cook it. With this tonight, we're going to make a little couscous. This is the brand I use, Near East. It's pretty much available everywhere. This is roasted garlic and olive oil flavor. This is stupid easy to make. Make sure you don't get the pearled couscous. That requires attention like rice, okay? So all you do is you put in a saucepan 1 1/4 cups of water. I go a little over the 1 1/4, just a little, because otherwise I think it comes too dry. And you can either use oil or butter, olive oil or butter, and it's in the directions. I use a little olive oil. I don't like butter in it. So you put the spice packet in there, which I just did. You turn the fire up, and you bring that to a boil. Okay. We're going to let that go for a few minutes till it boils. And at the same time, while we're waiting for that to boil and not drop the lid, just some nice plain steamed vegetables here, or vegetables to steam. Some broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots. Wash them off, drain all the water off. The water that remains is enough to steam them. These are going to go in the microwave. The microwave is the best way to steam vegetables. Shortly before I start the fish, I'm going to do those for... My microwave is pretty powerful, so I'm going to do about 5 minutes. I'm setting that now. So now we're going to wait for this water to boil for the couscous, and then we will start to get on. Okay, so we've got this to a boil now, and we are going to pour in and mix the couscous. This requires no attention whatsoever, except I spill a little bit. I'm going to take it off the fire, turn that off, stir it, put the lid on it, set it off to the side, and it's done. About 5 minutes, and then fluff it a little bit with a fork or spoon. Fluff. So that's the couscous, that's done. The vegetables are in the microwave, ready to be steamed. And we are going to get to cooking the fish in a minute. Okay, now for the star of the show. This pan may look a little bit dirty around here. That's not dirt, that is seasoning. I use this pan pretty much only for blackening or cooking at very high temperatures. If you wanted to scrub that off, you'd ruin the pan. So here we go. We're lighting it up over a medium-low flame right now to let the pan adjust. You don't want to go right to high heat. For this next and last step, we're going to need the cooking spray, the canola oil cooking spray, and the blackening seasoning again, some fresh lemon juice, or half a lemon if you will. So we're going to let this pan heat up now until it's very, very hot. Okay, now we started on low. We can increase it to medium high for another minute or so, and then we're going for broke. We're going to heat it up until it's very hot, and that's the secret. And then you have to have patience. Once you lay the fish down in there, don't be in a rush. The worst thing to do is overcook fish. That's when fish gets fishy tasting. But when you want to blacken fish, you got to do one side really well and then flip it over for only a second. So we're going to let this pan heat up, and in a minute we will put the fish in. Okay, now I've got our steamed vegetables done in the microwave. I've got the couscous over here keeping warm. And this pan has been heating for a good 15 minutes now. It's got to be very hot. Yeah, that's the secret. It's got to be very hot. There you go. You can hear that sizzle. Keep that on medium-high heat, medium to high heat. You can't keep it really too hot. But see, the beauty of using the spray oil is that you don't have smoke coming out of the pan and bubbling oil. It's much less messy, much less smoky, and it will make easier cleanup. We want to take the blackening seasoning, and if it cooperates, just lightly dust the top of the fish here. This is going to be the downside. It's had a lot on the top. By the way, don't add any salt to this until you've tasted it, because this blackening seasoning has quite a lot of salt in it. So you can always add, but you cannot take out, as my mother taught me. And then we're going to take the spray and very, very carefully, as this will ignite if it comes in contact. I'm turning the heat up just a little bit. This will ignite if it comes in contact with the fire. Just spray the top real quickly. Then you're done. And the secret here is patience. You've got to let this cook over this very high fire, high flame. If you're cooking on an electric stove, remember it's going to go nuts, so you have to remember that as well. But let this keep going and just have patience. That's the secret of blackening it. We're going to cook it a lot on one side and very little on the other. We don't want to overcook the fish. We want it to be nice and sort of rarish all through, but you're going to leave this in the pan. I have to increase the vent here. This may make the camera shake. Yep, can't do that. Okay, so we're going to have to live with a little shake. So you can see that it's starting to smoke a little bit. That's to be expected. Unfortunately, I can't turn up my vent hood much more, so I'm going to have a very salmony smelling place. But let's let it cook, I'd say for at least 3 or 4 minutes. We want to see it cooking up the sides here. We want to see it cooking upward from the bottom, and leave that on pretty high heat, medium high. Just have patience. So as you can see, this is starting to cook up along the sides here. We don't want to disturb the fish, but if you look at, not the Most cooperative piece of fish ever. You can see it's cooking up from the bottom. And you want to just let it stay like that. Do not disturb it. Do not flip it. Do not touch it. You want it to blacken. Getting to the point where we're going to turn this. See, it's cooking up around the edges. You can see, you can move it this way, but don't flip it. You can see how it's cooking up here. It's a fairly thick piece of fish, so that's a good thing when you're going to do this. When you want to blacken, you want to have something that can lay down on the skin side for quite a while. And we're still going to work on this. Now the important thing is here, when we take it and flip it, we're going to take it off the fire. We're going to take it off the heat and let it cook through for a minute, if that, because this is cooking up from the bottom really well. You got to be patient. Don't be afraid to rotate it, but don't flip it. So I'm seeing over here on this side, I'm hoping you can see that, it's cooking through pretty quickly. So we're getting close to flipping it. Keep that heat up. Do a little press. Okay, so it's cooking through really quickly now. So now we're going to flip it, got that perfect black, and we're going to take it right off the fire. Take it off the fire, let it sit a minute or so. Okay, so this has sat for 45 seconds to a minute. I think that's enough, but let's have a look. Yeah, that's about right. Let's give it one more flip. Give it a few seconds. Remember, we're off the heat now. We're no longer using the cooktop. This is your presentation side. See, it's nice and tough and a little crunchy, and that's what we want. Okay. I'm going to plate this up. And there we go. Steamed vegetables, couscous, and the salmon. I'm going to just let that sit for a minute. I'm going to clean this blackening pan, and then we will cut into it. So there it is, and now we're going to give it a bit of lemon juice. I know it's not fresh lemon juice. I'm lazy. I ran out of real lemons. But we'll give it some lemon juice. You can salt and pepper as you feel you want to on this, but otherwise this is done. To each his own, and you want a little crunch there, see? I don't know if you guys see that, but I'm sawing through a little bit here. And there's that salmon, it's beautiful. Skin is crunchy, crusty, perfect. Couscous and a bit of vegetable. I suggest definitely a red wine with this, if you can, but it's to each his own. But that's dinner tonight. Blackened salmon, couscous, and steamed vegetables. This is a very healthy dish. So make it and enjoy. Thank you for watching. Bye.